All right, let's get started. Welcome once again to all of you to this full moon meditation of April 2022, 1 month before the Vesak. So before we start, let us ask for divine blessing, shall we? To the Supreme God, to the Divine Father, Divine Mother, to Lord Mahaguruji Meling, to beloved Master Choa Kok Sui, to all the holy masters, holy gurus, holy saints, holy angels, to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to all the hierarchy of White Brotherhood, to all the angels, spiritual helpers, and beings of light. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Thank you for blessing us with an open mind, a loving heart, and a powerful will that we may serve others. Thank you for being with us, guiding us, nurturing us always, and giving us this opportunity to become channels of your love, mercy, and healing. Thank you also for blessing us with patience, tolerance, harmlessness, flexibility, ability to discern. Thank you for blessing us with purity of motive and clarity of mind in all that we do. With thanks and in full faith, we thank you. So let us just give me a moment. All right. So before we get into the meditation, let's briefly talk about the Vesak, right? That's the most powerful full moon of the year. And of course, it is often said that there are three powerful full moons, Vesak being the most powerful, and the one preceding the Vesak and the one following Vesak are the two other powerful meditations. So what is this about? The Vesak itself, right? While the exoteric meaning and interpretation is different as compared to what we see from esoteric perspective, right? So first things first, in traditional Buddhist view or traditional interpretation of it, it is always celebrated in the month of May, even though it is supposed to be in the month of Taurus, right? But traditionally speaking, from the old Buddhist school, it is typically celebrated in the month of May. However, from esoteric perspective, or the way we follow it, the way Master always tried to follow the guidelines of or given by the Lucis Trust. So according to that, again, we don't know how those calculations are done. We just go by what Master usually followed. So according to that, sometimes the full moon of Taurus falls in the month of April. Okay, so the guideline always is to follow the full moon of Taurus rather than just sticking to the view that okay, it has to be in May. Usually it is so, but not always. Okay. In fact, talking about the old Buddhist school, one of the key, I would say, focus or goal of such practices were to become an arhat. Okay. Now, of course, some of you are practicing arhatic yoga, or at least trying to, hoping to become an arhat in this lifetime, given by, following the teachings given by our beloved teacher. But essentially, the old schools of Buddhism had that main focus. The practices were given actually to become an arhat. Right. Now, The teachings, of course, are given in a much more modern form by Master himself, wherein we can, in one lifetime, achieve that state. However, that is from the hierarchy viewpoint, right? The Arhat is a fourth level of initiation, so to speak. Okay, there are many levels. So below that, obviously, is the third initiation, the second, and the first. The first level of initiation is mainly focused on a purification of the etheric and the physical bodies, essentially. Okay. The second level of an initiation essentially deals with the winning over or transmuting the desires, right? The winning over the emotions as such, right? Mastering the emotional body. The third level of initiation primarily focuses on developing a very intelligent mind and developing the mental body to a very, very high degree. So when we achieve when we become, hopefully, arhats, we would be in that fourth initiation, and then we would have perfected these three, right? And, in the process of perfecting our causal bodies, also the spiritual bodies, so to speak. Now, let me briefly touch about what happens exoterically when this Vesak ceremony happens. It is said that there is a place in Tibet, there's this so-called Vesak Valley, right, where this whole ceremony takes place. It's a very vast land, about 1.5 miles or something like that, sloping towards north or northeast, very huge land where there's hardly anything. It's a very barren land in the lap of Himalayas, where the key or the main orchestrator, or the official, if you want to speak, or use that word, official or the orchestrator of the whole ceremony, is Lord Maitreya. Most of you have probably heard of him, right? We all talk about second coming of Buddha, second coming of Christ, second coming of Krishna, or Imam Mahdi, and so on and so forth. In fact, according to the teachings, Lord Maitreya is the same soul which overshadowed. Now, when I use the word overshadowed, it has a deeper esoteric meaning. We'll not go into that. He overshadowed the body of Jesus. He overshadowed the body of Krishna, and so on. So it is the same being which is doing all of that. And he has been coming again and again. And in fact, that's what it is. That's why different religions look at it, obviously, from the outside perspective, but from the inner teachings perspective, it is one and the same being, which is being prepared, right? I mean, we all have to invoke for the teacher to appear. That's what we do in the Great Invocation, right? That is in fact, the central idea of the Great Invocation. The whole practice of Great Invocation actually revolves around calling of the teacher, of the great teacher. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of calling the teacher? It is not that these teachers have left the earth completely. They are there. However, they may not have a physical body today. They may be existing in another plane, right? When we say calling the teacher again, or the teacher coming and being with us again, first of all, the condition has to be right. And who creates the condition? We, all human beings. That's why when we read the Great Invocation, we talk about, the whole of human race, isn't it? So the human race has to be prepared, participate, sacrifice, so that the teacher can really appear. And again, this appearance could be symbolic in a way, right? If you think about it, all these avatars of Christ, of Krishna, and so on and so forth, the central idea again behind their teachings was the teaching of love, right? So love is the quality that, when we can, as a humanity, can really develop to a high degree, the teacher automatically appears. Now, whether the teacher appears in a physical form or not, it is probably not where we want to focus. That could be symbolic or physical, doesn't matter. The point here is that we develop that quality and master that quality. right? In fact, esoterically speaking again, love is actually related with wisdom. Okay, wisdom and love are the same thing. That's why sometimes we use the phrase called loving understanding, loving wisdom. Now, those who have been practicing with us the great invocation, you may have been asked to sometimes focus on Agnya, forehead and crown, and then you wonder, when we use the phrase love, how come forehead is being talked about, why not heart chakra, right? Because of course wisdom, but then the love and the wisdom are the same, esoterically speaking. So when there is love, the wisdom comes. Without love, wisdom cannot come. So when we focus on the forehead chakra, we are not only activating the wisdom part, but also definitely the love aspect within us. Okay. Now, by the way, I've been using this phrase, esoteric or inner meaning or something. So inner world, essentially, just to clarify here, it refers to the etheric world, the astral world, the mental world, and the causal world, or the planes, so to speak, right? So that is what the meaning of inner world is, essentially. The actual ceremony, so the exoteric ceremony which we spoke about in the Himalayas, it is more of, whether it, again, it can be understood from exoteric perspective and inner perspective. The actual ceremony happens in the inner world, because first of all, Lord Buddha does not appear in physical form, right? And the other teachers, the main one being the Lord Maitreya, then the other initiates. By the way, Lord Buddha is 8th initiate, just for your information, from the initiation perspective. He is the 8th initiate, okay, being a Buddha. Below that is the, are the 7th initiates, the 7 beings. For example, the world teacher, then the Manu. By the way, Manu is also a title, right? Like, just like Christ is a title, Manu is also a title. So the Manus, there are many Manus, and then the Mahachohans. The Mahachohan or Chohan, they are the 7th initiates. Below that are the 6th initiates. Okay, the Chohans. For example, the most famous we all know is Lord Christ. Okay, he's a Chohan. Similarly, if you have heard of Master Kuthumi or Saint Germain, right? Who else? Saint Germain, Master Hilarion, and so on. So these are some of the 6 initiates. Of course, these are not the only one. There are many more, because we have to understand that just as we are evolving, all these beings are also evolving. Okay. Now, this information could be taken whenever, but we have to understand that they may have already evolved, and many other beings would have also evolved to reach that level. We don't know that, but at least these are some of the names whom we know. Below that are the 5th initiates, whom we refer to as holy masters. So all the while, whenever you have been invoking holy masters, it is actually the way we call master as master, right? So this is obviously more from earthly perspective when we refer to someone as a master or a grandmaster. But the title of holy master is much, much, much loftier than the way we refer to our beloved Gurudev. The holy master is actually 5th initiate. Like, for example, the most famous one, again, we have been studying his books a lot, Holy Master DK Dwalkul, right? And then again, there are many, Holy Master Gamaliel and so on. And then the 4th initiates are the Arhats. 2 of the Arhats we know. We must have heard their name quite often. One, any guesses? Our beloved Sadgurudev, Master Choa Koksui, as far as we know, was a 4th initiate. Again, whether he has gone further up, we wouldn't know that as of now, but when he was in the body, he was still a 4th initiate, right? There are other such Arhats. Now, so ceremony. By the way, I was talking about the people who are, so you can imagine the kind of beings that appear in that whole ceremony in the inner world. Okay. Now, what happens here is, whenever we participate in such a ceremony, though we all sit at a place, we meditate, we try to align to the energies, and whether we know it or not, something happens, something takes place. So first of all, you all can be assured that whenever anybody participates in the Vesak ceremony, the Vesak festival, there is bound to be an effect on him or her, whether the person is aware of it or not. Now, the only thing is, of course, sometimes the brain does not register that. Sometimes, why? Okay, so the question is probably why. Some of you may have had some interesting experiences. Some of you may not have. Those who have been in the Vesak festival before. The thing is like this: the brain does not register because, since most of you are pranic healers, you know the existence of something called a protective web. When the protective web and the etheric body is very gross, the particles are big, not vibrating, they are thick, so to speak, again, symbolically. It kind of filters the information, the energy. And when it filters the energy, the brain does not register that. That's why many people, when they meditate, yeah, it was nice, but I don't know what happened. I mean, I was there, yeah, it felt nice, but what else? Don't know. But some people, they may have very deep inner experiences because their bodies are much, much more purified. That's one way to look at it. So if you want to really experience and be with that energy even more, we have to purify. And purification is not just overnight purification, by the way. So many people, of course, they try, but the actual purification takes months and years, sometimes years before we can have our first real experience during Vesak. It's not an overnight process. Of course, we try whatever we can given our modern lifestyle, but typically it should become part of life, right? The whole purification part, right? Now, that's one way to look at it. The other way to look at why purification is so important is also the fact that the kind of energies that Lord Buddha brings forth during this whole ceremony, you have to understand that that energy is coming from very high planes, and he has to act like a transformer so that the beings on the earth can handle that. At our level of evolution, we can handle those energies. But then again, well, energy is there and it will spread. The question is, how much energy can pass through us? One, to purify us. Two, so that through us we can help many, 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 many more people. With something like that, so for example, if you have, gold is a conductor, right? Copper is also a conductor of electricity. Guess what? In which metal does the electricity passes more? Copper or gold? Gold. Gold is much, much more purer. Copper still is a conductor, yes, fine, it will conduct the electricity, but gold is much pure. And even within the gold also, you have 18 karat gold, 22 karat gold, and 24 karat gold, and so on. The more we purify, so the way higher beings look at it is like this. They are constantly pouring and they're waiting for the individuals or the channels, so to speak, the instruments through which they can pass the energy. They are literally waiting for us humans to invoke and become channels so that we can bring the so-called heaven on earth, transform the earth. In fact, it is said or unsaid fact that because of many of us participating, and by the way, please understand also that pranic healers are not the only ones in this world who are trying to do this, right? So no pride about it. We are, according to what Master said once, you have to imagine a big lotus, a big, huge lotus, and each petal is like a spiritual school. Pranic healing and Arhati Yoga is one of the outermost petals of this lotus. So let's not have any pride about what we do. But the fact is, yes, we contribute. Yes, no doubt about that. So because of that, because of the good-hearted human beings like probably the people here and many others, many unwholesome, many events which would have had much more drastic effect on the earth have been averted, or their impact has been minimized or reduced, if not completely avoided. So the teachings given by our beloved teacher are really transformational in nature, not at our level, not only at our level, but also for the entire earth. Because we're all part of it, right? We all share the karma of the entire earth. There's something called planetary karma. So we are all in there together, right? So when we practice and become channels, we become anchor of these energies, and we are able to spread the light around us. Not only we are transformed, the earth is also transformed to a great degree. Okay, so that's the importance of purification. The more you purify, the more not only you can experience something, but there's a greater transformation that can take place. And icing on the cake would be that you become aware of those experiences. Otherwise, yeah, something would happen. You may or may not know about it. Okay. Now, there are two main things that we do during Vaisakh. I'll keep it very short. I'll try to give a very quick gist of what we do from the practice perspective, and then we'll also give you some ideas of how to purify and how to prepare yourself. So there are two main things that happen during Vaisakh, or we use during the ceremony. One is the great invocation, which I briefly touched upon, but I'll cover a couple of other points. And also the practice and the chanting of the mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. So, like I said earlier, the great invocation, the center to the practice of great invocation is the calling of the great teacher. Now, all of you may have seen the photo, right? The symbol of the which is on the great invocation chart. But would you like to know something interesting about it? The original symbol was called which was there earlier. What is now today, but earlier the original symbol was something else. It was called egoic lotus, or the soul chakra, which has 9 petals and a jewel in the middle, right? So the petals, these so-called 9 petals are symbolic of, there are 3 love petals, 3 knowledge petals, which correspond to the Agnya. So the knowledge petals correspond to the Agnya, the love petals correspond to the forehead, and the sacrifice petal, which is sacrifice for what? The will to do good. It's not just the goodwill, it is the will to do good. Okay, so that is the crown chakra. But so within the 9 petals, the 3 are the love petals, 3 are the knowledge petals, and the 3 are the sacrifice petals, the will, the power. Okay, and actually one of the inner meanings of Om Mani Padme Hum, the money, is that jewel within these 9 petals. That is one meaning. Of course, that is one level of truth, right? The other level of truth about Om Mani Padme Hum is something like this. Of course, first of all, I hope you know that this mantra was originally introduced by Buddha Kuan Yin, right? Or Ma Kuan Yin, who is also known as the goddess of mercy and compassion. So you have to understand that Bodhisattva Meling, or Mahaguruji Meling, is a disciple of Buddha Kuan Yin. So we all know that Mahaguruji Meling is such a powerful being, right? A guru of our guru, but he's a Mahaguru of all the gurus. So his guru is Ma Kuan Yin. So you have to understand that Buddha Kuan Yin is extremely advanced and powerful. Just to give you a simple idea, how many of you have seen the movie called Bruce Almighty? Some of you may have seen that movie, right? With Jim Carrey. So he becomes the god takes care of all the people in that city. What is that city? Buffalo City in the US. Okay. And he's inundated with some, 100,000s of prayers and stuff every day. And he's like, ooh. So you have to understand that a being which is in charge of the entire planet. Buffalo City is very, very, very small in front of the entire planet, right? So you have to understand how powerful that being is, who is in charge of mercy of the entire on the entire planet Earth. Okay, so this mantra was given by such a being. That's what we have been told. What are the uses of this mantra? Number one, for example, it has the healing effect on beings. It tends to create calmness and peace, and it has soothing effects. So not only on the one who is chanting it, but also on the people around. That's why when you go to places like Tibet or Dharamshala in India or any such Buddhist places, they have those flags, all those colorful flags. Have you seen them? And there is this mantra inscribed on it. It is believed that, because of the wind, when the wind touches, this mantra spreads throughout the whole area, thereby so instead of chanting, the wind itself carries the mantra throughout the whole city or wherever that is, thereby bringing so much of peace and calmness. Okay, that is use number one. Another use is also like this mantra has been designed and charged in such a way that it has cleansing effect, it has purification effect. Again, not only on the person chanting, but also people around to a certain degree, of course. That's why it can be used to purify ourselves, to purge the negative qualities like pride, greed, anger, and so on and so forth. This purification is not just in the subtle levels, it also helps to purify on the physical level. Verbal purification. When I say verbal, I mean the words that come out of our mouth or our mind. Physical, verbal, etheric, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So purification on all levels. That's why this mantra is also used during Vesak practice as well as throughout the year. And the third one is this money, right, which we are referring to. The money is the jewel. Padma is the lotus flower, the golden flower, the golden lotus, which refers to the crown chakra, right? And the money is actually the blue pearl, So by repeating this mantra and concentrating on the center of the head, which is meditation on the soul, those who have done it, you know this already, the person will experience in the long run, hopefully, his or her Buddha nature or illumination. So as you practice this mantra, just to summarize this, by the regular use of this mantra, the person is able to soothe or heal the pain of other beings and the other human beings and all other beings. Number two, purifies the person. And number three, it allows the person to spiritually evolve rapidly. So that is how it will be used. We will practice it anyway. And those who, I hope all of you will be there in the Vesak festival on May 16th, by the way. Now, let me quickly cover how to prepare, right? How do we spend this month in preparation for this momentous event? By the way, this is the only full moon meditation wherein disciples and aspirants all over the world meditate at the same time. So you can imagine, it is said that, by the way, 7 people meditating together is equivalent to 100 people meditating individually. I don't know how it is calculated, but somebody calculated somehow, and it is said that 7 people meditating together in a group is equivalent to 100 people. The amount of energy which gets generated is equivalent to 100 people meditating individually. So can you imagine millions of people meditating together at the same time? is just mind-blowing, right? I mean, the amount of energy which gets generated, and you can use it for so many purposes, right? Generating good karma for yourself, purification, rapid evolution, and whatnot. So how to prepare? What do you do in the coming 1 month to prepare yourself to maximize benefit for yourself and your family and so on? You interested? So I'll just call out a few practices, right, that you can follow. And I think different teachers are also helping their respective students to do more deeper preparation. You can get in touch with us if you want to do more, but let me just call out a few. Number one, as much as possible throughout this period, maintain fruit-based diet, vegetarian diet, avoid all non-vegetarian food. Okay, avoid all non-vegetarian food, because as we said earlier, the energy is gross, right, of the non-vegetarian food. So if you really want to let the energy pass, but otherwise you have to understand this, please understand, if the etheric body has a lot of clogs, right, those bigger particles, the fine energy cannot pass through, cannot really have an effect that you intend it to have on you. Number one. Number two, if it really tries to, it will push. It can cause more harm. So as much as possible, avoid non-vegetarian food. Would you like to know something more about that, about the vegetarian food and the non-vegetarian food? Just to give you a deeper perspective of it, if you're interested. The karma of the plant kingdom. Now listen carefully. The karma of the plant kingdom is tied with the karma of the human kingdom. They help each other evolve. The animal kingdom, it's something like this. For example, you want to practice, right? You want to grow spiritually, all of you perhaps. Let's take, you do some practice, you do meditation or whatever, you take 2 steps forward. You eat non-vegetarian food, you go 1.5 or 2 steps backward. So you stay where you are. Whether you like it or not, that's what happens in the inner world. So your purification is never complete till the time you've really let go of those substances out of your system. The karma of the plant kingdom is tied with the evolution of the human kingdom. They go hand in hand. The angels and the devas of that kingdom help the human kingdom to grow. Interestingly, you know what? Our etheric body, our emotional body, our mental body, they are also made of small beings, the devas, the angels of lower nature perhaps, right? So they come and help us form our bodies. And when we purify, in turn, we help them grow. We help them grow. So that's amazing symbiotic relationship. They form our bodies, and when we evolve, these beings also evolve with us. Okay, so that is number one. Number two, as much as possible, take salt bath. If you can do it daily, do it daily. If not, I mean, as frequently as you can. Number three, practice psychological purification. Now that's very, very important. By doing what? By practicing inner reflection and firm resolution every day. Spend time to think, who am I? I am the soul. All of us are like that. So if we are a soul, are we living as a soul? Or are we embroiled in the lower nature? Interestingly, it so happens that the incarnated soul forgets who it really is. So the question you really need to ask is, am I treating others with respect? Am I treating others and giving love? Am I overly entangled with something? Did I face a situation with more wisdom, with more maturity and understanding, or did I just react to a situation? And things like that. I mean, I'm just giving you some questions here, but you really need to be aware that all of us, right? We all are souls, but are we living as that? That is the true understanding, right? That's where we start. The whole suffering comes from the fact that we have unwholesome desires. We have inaccurate perception of who we are, and that's where it starts. If we do not know who we are, and if we do not work on it, realize it, everything else is just superficial. Okay, so inner reflection from solution, of course, on different virtues of, of loving kindness and non-injury, generosity and non-stealing, honesty and non-lying, objectiveness, and so on. That is obviously there, but at the very base, who we really are. Right? Is my tongue as harmless as it should be? Are my thoughts harmless? Something like that. Anyway, and of course, those who are arhatic practitioners, you can also do the blue triangle on the respective virtues. But without the inner reflection, blue triangle is only half effective, right? So combine the practice together. Number 4, do your meditation on twin hearts every day, as much as possible. Do it every day. Okay, if you are arhatic practitioner, you can do both as much as possible, if your time permits. Otherwise, try to definitely do twin hearts every day. Yeah. Number 5, make it a practice to do great invocation. Practice great invocation every day. Daily recital, do it thrice a day. Right? Just invoke, visualize the earth, say a great invocation, bless the whole earth. Do it thrice a day. If you have enough time, you can do it three times, or at least one time is also okay. But if you have a little more extra time, you can give that extra few more minutes. We would highly recommend that you do thrice in the morning, when you wake up, for example, thrice in the afternoon, and perhaps before you go to sleep. Okay, 3 times. What else? This is an amazing time to do a lot of service. Okay, so do a lot of service doing, because energies are there with you. You want to do something, it will manifest, right? So you just make sure that you do something so impersonal for you, because again, Vesak is not about oneself alone. Please understand this also. Vesak is about the service. Imagine the whole thing, right? The Lord Buddha himself is sacrificing to come down to our level so that we can evolve. So this whole spirit of Vesak is about sacrifice. Again, sacrifice for what? The will to do good, the goodwill. So as much as possible in this period, do a lot of service. You have to think on your own how to serve, but do that. What else? You can also consider in advance, what do you wish to do with this energy? Right? Just spend some time, reflect. What do you wish to accomplish through receiving this spiritual empowerment? I mean, energy is obviously it will be for your own benefit, but is there a higher purpose of it? Is there some higher use that you can make of it, right? So think about that. You can also think about your own accomplishments and the goals, but also think from a little higher perspective. How can I make use of this energy? Okay. What else? Definitely. So these are general guidelines. Now, 2 days before and 2 days after are also very important days before Vesak. So like, for example, May 14th and May 15th, try to, slowly, especially 2 days before, try to shift to partial fasting if you can, right? More of fruit diet and stuff, partial fasting on the day of Vesak if you can, again, manage it, fasting. This is, but if you have any medical conditions that require you to have food and medicines, by all means do that. Those who are okay, try to do partial fasting 2 days prior to the Vesak. On the day of Vesak, do fasting. 2 days later also you can do. partial fasting, and so on. And lastly, after the Vaisakh, do not just go back to business as usual, right? Do not just plunge into your life. Okay, Vaisakh is done, sorted. I can just go back and do normal stuff. Take time to assimilate the blessings, the energies, and appreciate what you have got, right? And then fully utilize this gift in your life. Because otherwise, if you just jump back in your normal life, energy will be dissipated immediately. But if you take time, you can actually make it useful for your own self as well as for the humanity. Okay, so that was in brief about Vaisakh. Now we shall meditate, shall we? We will practice now our meditation. Sit comfortably, close your eyes. Keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Gently smile. Smiling is the best and easiest way to open your heart chakra. Normalize your breathing. We will chant the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum a few times to purify ourselves. You may also chant along with me. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Be still. Be aware of the divine energy coming down, purifying all your chakras. The crown chakra is cleansed. Your forehead and Agni chakras are being cleansed. Your throat and secondary throat chakras are being cleansed. Front and back heart chakras are being cleansed. Front and back solar plexus chakras are being cleansed. Your spleen chakra is being cleansed. The navel chakra being cleansed. Sex chakra and the basic chakras are being cleansed. May all the dirty energy be disintegrated and expelled into Mother Earth. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Be aware of the divine energy coming down and purifying your entire aura. Your etheric body, physical bodies are being cleansed. May all the organs, the entire body, your spine,
Your head, your torso, your arms and your legs are being cleansed. All the feces and dirty energy is being expelled into Mother Earth. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Be aware of the divine energy coming down and purifying the emotional body, the astral body, and the mental body. May all the negative thoughts, negative emotions, unwholesome, unwanted thoughts, distressing thoughts, any negative emotions are being disintegrated and being expelled into Mother Earth. Mental body and emotional bodies are being purified and they are completely cleansed. Be still. Be aware. Be aware of the calmness and the stillness. It is in the stillness you can hear the whisper of the soul. Let us now raise hands in the blessing posture. Visualize Mother Earth in front of you, size of a small ball. We will use the great invocation prayer. Be aware of your Ajna Chakra. You may repeat along with me, at least move your lips, the great invocation. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of every person, every being. Let light descend on earth. Oh. Be aware of the light spreading throughout Mother Earth. Lighting up the minds of every person, every being. Be aware of your forehead chakra. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of every person, every being. Let love descend on earth. May Christ returned to earth. Be aware of the loving energy spreading throughout Mother Earth, going to the heart chakras of every person, every being. Now be aware of your crown. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the willingness to do good descend on earth. Oh. Be aware of the energy of will, the will to sacrifice, going down and spreading throughout Mother Earth. The goodwill and the will to do good, the will to sacrifice for the divine plan. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love, be aware of your forehead, and light, Agnya, work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power descend on earth. Let light, love, and power restore the divine plan on earth. So be it, so be it, so be it. We will do this again. Be aware of your Agnya Chakra. Now this time, visualize 2 points of light, one to the left of your Agnya, one to the right, forming a triangle connected with your Agnya Chakra. Just be aware that these are two souls with whom you are connected. Your triangle is not the only triangle. It is a part of a vast network of triangles. Visualize that this triangle is covering the entire earth. The whole network of triangle is covering the entire earth. Yours is just one of the triangles. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of every person, every being. Let light descend on earth. Now be aware of light coming down in the middle of your triangle, spreading throughout the triangle. Now rotate this energy 3 times clockwise, looking from above, starting from your Agnya Chakra. Rotate the energy. 1, 2, and 3. And share this energy with the entire earth. Let this energy be anchored throughout the earth. Oh. Now be aware of your forehead. Visualize 2 points of light, one on the left of your forehead, one towards the right, forming a triangle of love connected with your forehead chakra. Again, be aware that this is just one of the triangles among the vast network of triangles. Yours is just one of them. From the point of love within the heart of God, Let love stream forth into the hearts of every person, every being. Let love descend on earth. May the world teacher return to earth. Let love descend on whole of Ukraine and Russia and the entire Europe and the entire world. Be aware of the energy of love coming in the center of your triangle, spreading throughout your triangle. Circulate this energy 3 times clockwise, looking from above, starting from your forehead. 1, 2, and 3. And share this energy with the entire earth into the heart chakras of every person, every being. Om. Now be aware of your crown. Visualize 2 points of light, one on the left, one on the right, forming a triangle connected with your crown. This is the triangle of will, the goodwill, the will to sacrifice. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. Be aware of the energy coming down in the center of your triangle, spreading throughout your triangle. Circulate this energy 3 times clockwise, looking from above. 1, 2, and 3. And share this energy with the entire earth. Oh. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power descend on earth, restore the divine plan on earth. So be it, so be it, so be it. One more time, let us do the great invocation. This time there will be lesser instructions. I hope you will remember them. Be aware of your Agnya Chakra, form the triangle. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of every person, every being. Let light descend on earth. Be aware of the light coming down, spreading throughout your triangle. Circulate it 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And share it with the entire earth. Oh. Form the triangle with your forehead. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of every person, every being. Let love descend on earth. May Christ return to earth. Be aware of the energy of love coming down in the middle of your triangle, spreading throughout the triangle. Circulate the energy 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And share it with the entire earth. Aum. Visualize that all the triangles, all the network of triangles is becoming brighter, covering the entire earth. Let the loving energy be anchored throughout Mother Earth, especially Russia and Ukraine. Beware of the crown. Form the triangle of will. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men. The purpose which the holy masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend on earth. Be aware of the energy of goodwill coming down to your triangle, spreading throughout your triangle. Circulate the energy 3 times clockwise, looking from above. 1, 2, and 3. And share this energy with the entire earth. Oh. From the center, which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power restore the plan on earth. Be aware of your crown. Oh. Forehead. Oh. Agnya. Oh. May the power of one life pour through the group of all true servers. May the love of one soul characterize the lives of all those who seek to aid the great ones. May we fulfill our part in the one work through harmlessness and right speech. So be it. So be it. So be it. May the whole of Mother Earth be blessed. May all the sentient beings in the higher worlds, the middle worlds, the lower worlds, in all dimensions, in all directions, be blessed with compassionate, purifying light and soothing, healing energies. So be it. Visualize the energy of love coming down, covering the entire earth. Visualize the aura of the earth turning pink, beautiful golden pink. Send the energies of love deep into Mother Earth. And let these energies of love transmute the past energies of conflict, of war, of distress. May the core of Mother Earth be transformed, be healed. Visualize this energy of love coming out from the ground. So be it. May the entire mineral kingdom be blessed. May the plant kingdom be blessed. May the animal kingdom be blessed. May the whole of human kingdom be blessed. May the whole of angelic kingdom be blessed. So be it. May the sources of our food and water be blessed. So be it. May all the ponds, the rivers, the lakes, all the water bodies, the oceans, may all of them be blessed. So be it. May all the plants, the trees, the shrubs, the grass, the entire ground, the entire plant kingdom be blessed. So be it. May the very air we breathe be blessed, be healed, be filled with love, with peace, with harmony, with patience. So be it. May every person, every being be blessed. So be it. Bless your whole country with divine light, love, and power, with progress. May your country be blessed with financial stability. So be it. May all the leaders, not just the political leaders, but all the leaders for different industries, be blessed with wisdom, with love, with compassion, with generosity, with discernment to do what is right and to refrain from any unwholesome actions and behaviors. So be it. Now all the farmers in the country be blessed with abundance and prosperity, with access to right resources at the right time. So be it. Bless your home. Visualize your home inside a flame of love. Visualize your family members. May your home be blessed. May our homes be blessed with peace and love, with calmness, with forgiveness, with tolerance, with patience, with harmony, togetherness, with lots of love. Visualize your family members hugging each other, laughing with each other, having a joyful time with each other. So be it. And share these energies with your entire neighborhood. Let your home be the anchor of the light, love, peace, and happiness. Let it spread throughout your neighborhood, to the buildings nearby, to the plants, to everything. May these energies be spread throughout your neighborhood. So be it. May Yoga Vidya Pranic Healing Foundation of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh be blessed. Great success in manifesting Master's vision and mission. So be it. May our ashram be blessed with right resources at the right time. May it be completed before the retreat, fully and properly. So be it. May the whole retreat be blessed. May all the participants of the retreat be blessed. So be it. Let us also utilize the energies for blessing our wishes. If you have your Kriya Shaktis written down, you can bring them forward or just visualize them. If you have not written your Kriya Shaktis, it's also okay. Think of your wishes and be aware of the wishes of others too. Send the golden energies. May all our wishes be blessed. May they be materialized fully, properly, and rapidly. Now, so be it. May all the rightful wishes be materialized. So be it. May all of you and your family members be blessed. So be it. So be it. And so it is. Om. Amen. Amen. Tathastu. So it is. Release the energy. Cut. To the Supreme God, to the Divine Father, Divine Mother, to Lord Maha Guruji Meling, to Master Chua Kok Sui, to all the great ones. We thank you for your priceless blessings, for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Thank you for being with us always. With thanks and in full faith, we thank you. And to all of you, Atma, Namaste. I, the soul, salute the divinity in all of you. Atma, Namaste. You may gently open your eyes with a big, big smile. Okay. All right. Thank you for being here. Let me see if there are any questions, and maybe I'll cover one or two of them if possible. When is the great invocation practiced? Anytime, as much as you want. There's nothing stopping you to do that. But if you want, do it when you wake up, somewhere in the afternoon, and before you sleep. Other than that, as much as you want. Okay. The practice has begun. Different probably trainers are doing it differently, but we'll try to announce it through the foundation, and you can get started with that. Okay. How many days? Okay. Again, the guideline about the food is just a guideline, right? Of course, it's not mandatory. We recommend you do that if you can. And I've explained the esoteric reasons behind and everything else around it. So I'll leave that to you. Yeah, Om Mani Padme Hum, good for kids. Yes, kids can also chant the mantra. Okay. Right. Is there any other question? No? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. And we hope you a wonderful day, and a wonderful week, and wonderful month ahead. And we will see you in Vesak. Atma Namaste and take care.